Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you are watching this, know that I appreciate you. 'Tis I, Jay, and I'd like to welcome you to another day in the daily life of Jay. It is February 2nd, 2021, and it is 8:32 in the morning. And I am headed to work once I get this car moving again. This van moving again. That's where I'll be headed. So let's see if I can make that happen in like 2.5 seconds. How are you all? Did you sleep well? Did you have a great rest? Did you get things done last night that you needed to get done? How was your work day? For those of you who are working, how was your work day? I hope that it was productive. I hope and I pray that it was productive. And if you are not back at work yet, how was your day, just in general? I know that it can be trying when you are trying to find work and work isn't making itself visible, or you find something but it's one, not what you really want, two, doesn't pay enough, or three, is just crappy altogether. I know that can be hard. I've been there, I've done that. I just heard a really interesting conversation though. If I keep that clip in, I turned the radio on. And the question of the day, the question of the morning, I guess is what it was. I don't listen to that particular station all the time, so I don't really know if that's what they typically do. But anyway, the question on the table was, have you ever had to sleep on someone else's sofa, or have you had someone, have to sleep on your sofa? And they want you to tell the story. Well, I've been in both positions. Not so much me sleeping on someone else's sofa, but me having to sleep in someone else's home. And then I've also had, what in the world happened here? But I've also had, oh gosh, I'm gonna miss that light. I'm not gonna run it. People have to sleep on my sofa. Or air mattress or floor or whatever you want to call it. At one point, I didn't even have a sofa. I didn't even bother to put one in the living room. I didn't even bother. I had a chair that, what did we do with that chair? I don't even remember what we did with that chair. But that's all I had. And it wasn't in the living room. It was actually in the dining room. I left it in the dining room. But other than that, I didn't even have living room furniture. I didn't have dining room furniture. I didn't have any furniture. At that point in our lives, we could not afford to have anything other than what we slept on. I had gotten rid of the furniture that we did have because it had worn itself out. Oh, I keep forgetting to do this. It had worn itself out. So I hadn't even bothered to buy any other furniture at that point. But the bottom line is I've had to have people stay with me, and I've had to stay with others. Please let this traffic be. All right, thank goodness it's moving. There's a lot of it, but it's moving. I'm getting on the freeway, guys. I'm getting on the freeway. Y'all know I hate the freeway. And it's starting to slow up. Doggone it. But I gotta get on because I am running late. I was late yesterday. 10 minutes late yesterday. But I couldn't get on the freeway because it was totally backed up. You saw the video. I told you that it was backed up. I didn't Okay, so this takes me to another thing. So you didn't see the video of me actually seeing you saw the video of me actually seeing the traffic, but you didn't see the traffic. I actually purchased a dash cam so I could start recording the street part of some of the street part of my commute. And the dash cam that I bought was a really great price. And I was like, oh, this is great. I mean, I can do this, no problem. It turns out it only records for 2.5 minutes. And while that would be fine if I were just using it to record for these videos, for the vlog, for my daily car chronicles, that would be fine. But that's not why I was purchasing the camera. I was purchasing the camera because I actually want to record my commutes, because I tell you all, see, that was another accident that could have happened. I tell you all the time about how crazy these people drive, and accidents happen like crazy. I'm almost positive that's what happened yesterday with the traffic. Almost positive that's what happened yesterday. There was some kind of accident on here. And yes, my little co-worker was in the middle of all of that. She was late like I was late. I figured she would be. But I want to be able to record that, because if anything were to happen, I want documentation of it. I want documentation of whatever accident it is, whether it's one that I'm involved in or one that I witness, because these people seriously drive as if driver's ed was not offered ever in life. And there, again, is almost always some kind of debris on the roadway. So I was getting a dash cam for that. But then it would have been nice to have used it for the daily vlog. Why are you coming? Y'all, this 18-wheeler hauling stuff on the top of his truck, is a flatbed, hauling stuff, just did a fast shift from the far right. I'm on a 4-lane highway, from the far right to the second lane on the left, across, just, man. Okay, so the point that I was making before I went on that tangent about this road and, people, like I'm behind a truck right now, and if the husband were in the car, he would flip out because they're hauling stuff on the back of their truck. And although it looks like it's tied down, you just never know. So I am going to get a dash cam. I'm going to have to order it from someone else, or find a better quality one at Walmart, one or the other. But anyway, the question was, have you ever had to stay on someone's couch or had anyone stay with you? And again, I've done both. So right before we moved here, my oldest had to stay with us because he and the girlfriend had broken up. They've been broken up for years at this point. But he had moved out, and the place where he was going to stay fell through. Something happened where he ended up not staying with her anymore and having to stay with us. So he stayed with us for probably a month or two, and we were looking for him to get his own place. We had found places around our apartment at the time, and one that we saw that was reasonably priced for him just really wasn't big enough. And not only was it not big enough, but I think some of the requirements that they had were really very, I won't say unrealistic, but to us at the time, they were unrealistic. But either way, it didn't work out. And he didn't only have to think about him being in the apartment, he had to think about his son being in the apartment too. Where his son was going to be when he stayed over. It was a studio with a little bit of an alcove, or was it a one bedroom? It might have been a one bedroom with a small living room. And it was just enough for him and my grandson whenever he stayed, but it was configured in a weird way, almost as if it really wasn't meant to be an apartment on its own. But it was an apartment. Like it was a walk up. It was separated from the other apartment by stairs. It was just weird the way it was chopped up. I don't know if it was supposed to be a studio and they broke it into a bedroom. I don't know, but whatever the case, he didn't get the apartment. And at the same time, my husband and I were looking for another place because we just couldn't afford where we were. And so my son stayed with us for, like I said, a couple of months. And this was probably in February of that year. So he was with us until we moved here. He didn't want to come here with us. He decided to stay in Chicago, and then he went and got the place that he's living, where he's living now. And that was even really not for him to live in, because it wasn't. See, he was just coming up on you. It really wasn't fit to live in, but he needed a place, so that's where he was. My youngest has had to stay with us. Y'all know that story. 3 months turned into 7, turned into me saying, look, you got to get out. My husband's cousin has had to stay with us. His 3 months we saw was going to turn into more, and I was not happy with that. And then he had to go back to Chicago for some reason, and he just stayed in Chicago. My mom has had to stay with me at one point. This was before I got married the second time. This was in between marriages. My mom had to stay with me at one point, and it got to the point where I was like, you know what, I can't. You gotta go. It just wasn't a healthy thing for her. It wasn't a healthy thing for me. Things were happening that should not be happening. And I just said, you've got to find something, because this isn't going to work. And we have had to stay in someone else's house. When we moved here for 3 months, we lived with someone else until we got our own place. So it just... almost everyone has had to do that. Either let somebody stay with them or stay with someone. And for various reasons, it just happens that way. But when that happens, you have to be prepared for the move out. If you are the person that is staying with someone else, you've got to be prepared for the move out. Meaning, if you need to stay with someone, and you won't have an agreement that it's a certain amount of time, and you've got to do certain things while you're there to get yourself prepared, then do those things. You've got to be prepared for the move out. And if you are someone that is allowing others to live with you, you've got to be prepared for the move out. Stick to your guns. Mattresses. Stick to your guns. Don't let them talk you out of what you initially agreed upon. Yes, when we do come up on hard times, something may fall apart, that we planned on, meaning the person that's staying with you, something may fall apart that they had planned on. I get that, but you still have to say, okay, what I said to you, what we agreed upon initially is still valid. But I'm willing to extend a few more weeks. And by a few, I mean no more than 3. So that you can work this out. Because sometimes you're staying with the person, you get a job, as in the case with the cousin that had to stay with us, got a job right away, and then was let go of that job. So the plan was, and this is the plan that we gave everyone, you stay with us for 3 months, you get a job as soon as possible, You save up your money for that 3 months, and then you move out and get your own thing. Well, because he lost that job, he was there for a week. Because he lost that job, he couldn't stick to the plan. And he didn't find another one. So he really couldn't stick to the plan. So it got to a point where, something's got to give. Like, we love you, but something's got to give. And the give was, you got to go. But before, make sure that traffic isn't coming this way. Before we could even verbalize formally that he had to go back to Chicago to take care of some business. And when he got back to Chicago, he just decided to stay. So that saved us from saying, you gotta go. But we were prepared to do it. With my youngest that stayed with us, it was, you got 3 months, find yourself a job, save up your money, and go. That situation ended up being a little bit different because when my youngest moved here, she moved here with nothing. So she had to replenish wardrobe, toiletries, all of that. She had to replenish. Transportation, and I actually ended up getting the transportation, and then she paid me back for it. So there was that. There was that part of it. But then that 3 months became 4 months, became, oh, I'm not really even saving up money. I don't even have money to move. Became 5 months, became 7 months. And it's like, okay, yeah, no, we're not doing this. This we are not doing. We are not doing. And that's when I had to give the ultimatum of go back to Chicago, get a hotel, move in with your friend, or go to a shelter. But you can't stay here. You can't stay here. And it was stick to my guns with the understanding of, yes, something else was a deciding factor in them being able to, be on their own in 3 months. But at the same time, if you're still not doing what you're supposed to do, then yeah, you're going to end up being with somebody longer than you both agreed upon. And one of us has got to stick to our guns on this. And okay, I'm that one. I'm that one. And again, you had to do it for various reasons. You lost a job, especially now with the pandemic and all of the people that are not considered essential workers, so they don't have employment. You're in college and you're guaranteed a job when you get out of college, and then something happens and that job isn't yours, or you're a recovering addict of some sort, and you really want to get your life together, but you've got nowhere to stay, so someone lets you stay on their couch and they give you the time frame to get yourself together, get a job, and save up. Whatever, it happens for various reasons. You're relocating, and what you were intending to have in place when you moved is not in place. So it can happen for various reasons, but you have to be able to prepare. You have to prepare for the move out. You got to prepare for the move out. And some people say, no, I don't allow people to live with me because they would take advantage of me. Well, they can only take advantage if you allow them to. Or some people say, I don't let people live with me because I don't trust people. Well, you got to trust somebody. You got to trust somebody. And if this is someone that you wouldn't even let visit you for more than 30 minutes, then no, you can't let them move in your house. But at the same time, you've got to think about, if you were in those shoes, what would happen, And I'm not saying you have to open your doors to anyone. That's not what I'm saying at all. I don't have control over your household. But I am asking you to take into consideration that it's possible that you may be in those same shoes one day. It's highly likely that you will be in those same shoes one day. So think about that. And if you don't feel comfortable opening your doors to people, then don't. But if you do, prepare yourself for the move out. And if you are someone that has to live with someone else, stick to what you agreed upon and prepare for the move out. So yeah, that's where I am. I just thought it was an interesting question posed. And I think it was really what got you in that place and what brought you to having to stay with someone else. I think that was the question, but I didn't hear the whole thing because, like I said, I don't really listen to that station very often. And I was about to switch stations when I heard the question. I think it was the tail end of it. So, and then I just turned the radio off because I turned the camera on. But yeah, so I'm going into this office and getting myself together for the day. We were supposed to have 2 people start yesterday. Only one did. Thankfully, he has experience in our field, so it's not brand new to him. He is acquainted with the pressure of sales. So hopefully this all works out. We're supposed to have 2 or 3 start next week. So we shall see. We may be letting someone go, but I don't know what he's doing. He being the employer, is kind of wavering back and forth with some uncertainty, because even though this is just business and not personal, there is a personal side to it. And he is trying to be mindful of this person's situation. But at the same time, this person is not progressing at all. So he's got to make the decision of whether he's going to allow them to stay or tell them to go. And I've told him and reinforced it again yesterday, whatever decision you make, I'll back you up in it. I'll back you up in it. But you got to make a decision. You got to decide. So we shall see. We shall see. I didn't do any work last night. We went to the grocery store. So I didn't do any work. We got some groceries. And I'm so proud of my husband. I think I told you guys before that he preferred to get the wingettes because they were small enough for him to enjoy. Well, he finally figured out that they were a waste of money. So we bought actual full-grown chicken. We bought actual full-grown chicken last night. I was so happy. I was so happy. And even as tired as I was, and I didn't really feel like doing it, I was happy to separate that meat, honey, and put it in the freezer. Full-grown chicken. So we got wings and drumsticks and thighs. So thank God. And we walked away yesterday with more groceries than we've walked away with in a very long time, for whatever reason. But I think a huge part of it is the money that we've been spending on those doggone party wings. He sees could have been better spent on actual real chicken. And even if we don't eat everything that's cooked up in that one sitting, it's more substantial, and he's able to, with his teeth in the current shape that they're in, it's easier for him to bite into a full-grown piece of chicken. We shall see how he receives that when I finally fry up the first batch of chicken. So yeah, let me get in here and start my my drink. I made a drink this morning, a little bit of a smoothie type, with my super greens and collagen, chia seeds, and turmeric. My back and my knee, my left knee, have been inflamed for the last week, so I'm gonna finally do something by drinking turmeric and see if it helps. But I gotta get in here because our new person may have parked up front. I don't know. Yesterday he parked in the back, but I don't know. if he's going to park up front today or not. But anyway, I got to get in here. Peace and blessings. Remember to walk in your purpose and know that I appreciate you.